I still remember the exact moment everything cracked. It was 11:47 p.m. I was lying in bed, half asleep, when my phone lit up with a message from an unknown number. Your wife isn't where she says she is. Just that. No explanation, no name, just a single sentence that grabbed me by the throat. I stared at it for a long minute, my heart suddenly wide awake. Sarah had told me she was at her friend Minal's place for a girls' movie night. I believed her. I always did. Trust wasn't something I ever questioned in our marriage. But that message, it felt like someone had touched a bruise I didn't know was there. I didn't reply. I didn't call. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling, feeling something unfamiliar creeping up my chest, doubt. The small signs I ignored. The truth is, it wasn't the first odd thing. There were the missed calls she never explained, the quick screen flips whenever I walked into the room, the new habit of sleeping with her phone on silent, face down. Her laughter had changed too. Softer, hidden, like she was keeping it for someone else. But every time something felt off, I blamed myself. Maybe I was overthinking. Maybe I was insecure. Maybe marriage just goes through phases. That night, though, that message wouldn't leave my head. At 12:15 a.m., I finally texted her. Everything okay? She didn't reply for 20 minutes. When she finally did, it was, yeah, sleeping. Talk tomorrow. But the timestamp on her message read 12:37 a.m. And I knew Minal always slept early. She had a baby who woke up every few hours. My chest tightened. The night everything shifted. She came home the next morning smelling faintly of cologne. Not mine. And she avoided my eyes. Something inside me, something loyal, tired, and patient, finally snapped awake. For the next week, I paid attention. Really paid attention. And that's when the truth started slipping out through the cracks. Whenever her phone buzzed, she'd physically flinch. She'd smile down at the screen in a way she hadn't smiled at me in months. And when she hugged me, it felt like she was reaching around a memory of someone else. The worst part? I still loved her. Even while suspecting her, I still loved her. The betrayal I didn't want to see. It happened on a Tuesday. I was searching for my charger in her bag. She always carried spares, and that's when I heard the notification. The phone lit up before I could even pull my hand back. A message preview. A name I didn't recognize. And just 2 words. Miss you. My throat closed. My fingers went numb. When she entered the room and saw the phone in my hand, the blood drained from her face. Sarah, I whispered. Who is he? She didn't answer. She didn't have to. Her silence was the confession. I walked away before she could speak. I needed air. Distance. Anything that didn't smell like lies. The pretend divorce. For the next 3 days, she acted like nothing was wrong. She cooked, talked, asked about work. Everything perfectly normal. Too normal. Then, on Friday night, she burst into the living room with a stack of papers and threw them onto the table so hard the corners bent. Fine, she yelled. If you want to act suspicious and controlling, let's just end it. Here, divorce papers. Maybe then you'll realize what you're losing. Her face was flushed, eyes angry. But underneath, I saw something else. Fear. This wasn't her ending things. This was her bluffing. Trying to scare me back into my old, trusting self. Trying to regain control. I looked down at the papers silently. She didn't expect that. She thought I'd panic. Beg. Break. Instead, I picked up the pen. Her eyes widened instantly. Wait, what are you doing? Signing them. Stop. I didn't mean it like that. It was just. I signed the last page slowly, deliberately, then slid the papers back to her. Her hand shook as she grabbed them. The silence after that felt heavier than every argument we ever had. Her falling apart. Why would you sign them? She whispered, voice cracking. Because, I said quietly, you already left me long before you said the word divorce. I was just catching up. Tears filled her eyes. She covered her mouth with her hand, like she was trying to hold the guilt in. It wasn't serious, she whispered. It just happened. I didn't think I was upset. You were distant, and he listened. I listened too, I said. You just stopped talking to me. She broke then, really broke. Crying, apologizing, rambling through explanations and regrets. But the part that hurt the most was that I believed she meant every word. She did feel guilty. She was sorry, just not before she was caught. The goodbye. We separated quietly a week later. No yelling, no screaming, just two people sitting on opposite ends of a couch, staring at a marriage they both killed. One with betrayal, one with silence. Packing my bag felt like packing away an entire lifetime. The mug she gifted me, the t-shirt she always stole, the photograph we took on our first anniversary. Every memory felt like it had teeth now. When I reached the door, she walked up behind me. "Can I hug you?" she whispered. I hesitated, then nodded, her arms wrapped around me, trembling. "Please don't stop remembering the good parts," she cried. It wasn't all a lie. I swallowed hard. "No," I whispered. But the ending was, I pulled away gently, opened the door, stepped out, and for the first time in months, I felt the air fill my lungs completely. Closure. People assume betrayal destroys love instantly. It doesn't. It destroys trust first, then respect, then the version of yourself that believed it would never happen to you. Love is the last thing to die. And sometimes, letting go is the final act of loving yourself. I didn't sign those papers to punish her. I signed them because I finally realized something. I deserve to be chosen, not just tolerated, not just kept around, chosen, every day. And walking away was the first time in a long time that I chose myself.